It's going to be a little more interactive. For those that are online, you'll definitely will get some out of this. Tonight's talk is going to be about muscle testing at home. So this is a very good tool that you can use that can help you understand if something is something you should move forward on, if something is something that is good for you, and so forth. Michelle, can you get me one of the hot chocolates, please? So tonight is going to be a tool that you can use when you have a question that you're going to want to use for the present or asking about the past. The key with muscle testing is you can never ask anything about the future. So, can you ask anything about the future? Why did I ask that? Is because most people want to ask about the future. You have to ask about something in the present right now or something in the past that happened. You cannot ask about future events. It will not work. So can we ask about future events? I'm going over this repeatedly and really hammering it hard because a lot of people are like, well, that thing doesn't work. And I go, what'd you ask? Well, I was asking about who the next blah, blah, blah was going to be. And I'm like, that's why I said that 3 times. We can't ask about the future. So again, you know what I'm going to ask? We can't ask about the future. Excellent. I'm getting a little feedback, Sarah, if you can help with that. So again, no asking about the future, but I want you guys to be really intrigued about tonight because with muscle testing, like I was saying, it's a tool. It's just like a tool. I'm getting a lot of feedback now. It's just like a shovel or an axe or a chainsaw or something like that. It's a tool or a hammer or a screwdriver. It's something that you can use to work towards an outcome that you want to achieve. So why would we want to know this? We would want to know this to make wise decisions that we're not quite sure about in the future, or not the future, in the present, I mean. So in the present, we want to ask questions. Should I do this right now or do this not right now? Now, what should I do in 2 days? Or what should I do right now? So that will help with those applications. What we're going to get into is how muscle testing can be used to figure out organ issues you have. Can be used to figure out questions you have about health things, questions you have about friends and family members. There's also a chart over there that's color-coded. Can you get me that, Michelle? It's right there on the top. Yep. Excellent. So I want to thank you for being here. I want you to, show your friends and family members this because they'll think you're doing something that doesn't make any sense, but there's actually a lot of research behind it. If you do muscle testing correctly, it's 98 to 95% accurate. That means it's more accurate than the majority of the drugs that are on the market, like 99% of the drugs that are on the market, because you only need to have an accuracy of over 30% for it to be considered efficacy. And if you didn't know, the placebo effect has a 50-50% chance of working. That means the placebo works more than most drugs work. Just FYI, so most people aren't aware. So what we want to look at is, how does this work? If you want to go down a deep dive in this, there's a book. It's a heavy read. It's very scientific. It's called Power versus Force. And it's literally 30 years of muscle testing and how accurate it is and how to do it. The proper way, the best way to do muscle testing is to use a surrogate. That means you don't test yourself. And you don't test with somebody who has an emotional tie, trigger, or outcome that they want to have happen. So the best would be somebody who doesn't care at all. That's the best person to ask. If the person that you're using as a surrogate does have a tie, then don't say it out loud, what you're going to test. You're going to say it to yourself and then say yes and no and go forward, and we'll go forward on how to actually do that. So with muscle testing, what we're doing is we're trying to determine a yes or no answer. There is no grays. It's either yes or no, black or white. There is no maybes, kind ofs. It's either on, all, or nothing. Now, how it works is that, and this is one of the theories of how it works. So I can't tell you determinately 100% that it isn't a different way, but this is the going theory. Like the going theory of how gravity works is big object attacks to another one, attaches or pulls another one closer. If we find out new things, then that will change. And that's the thing that most people need to understand about science is the scientific model states that at any time a law can be disproven. So when you understand that, you understand science is actually quite flaky. Most people aren't aware of that. They actually think it's very hardcore, but it isn't. The scientific model says, make a hypothesis, test it, and retest it. And the more people that test it and say it keeps coming true means that that's the answer. And if it keeps getting retested, but all it takes is one person disproving it, and that law cannot be a law anymore. So the model states that it can be broken. Thus, that theory, that concept we have goes away. The problem is a lot of times that happens and people just keep living as if the model is true. On the other hand, philosophically, there are 100% yes and no's. So even though we're taught that philosophy is more of a whooshy, not as hard, there are 100% truths in philosophy, but within science there actually is, because it can always be disproven. And that's hard for a lot of mechanists to understand. So I'm bringing this up because what we're going to get into is the fact that when we do muscle testing, we're actually using your innate intelligence to answer the question. Your body is going to tell us the question of, is this good? Is this bad? Yes or no's. But you have to make sure when you do this, you're set up correctly. So when you muscle test, the first thing that you have to start with is a standard of what is yes and what is no. What does it show up as in this person? What do you want it to show up as? Yes is strong. No is weak. Because it's actually rooted in our psychology of when you hear yes, you get happy. And when you hear no, you don't like it. Just like when you hear your name, it is the most sweet thing that you can ever hear said. But if somebody else calls you by a different name, see how angry you get. Because that is rooted in who we are, our id, our ego, our concept of us. So what we want to see is that working correctly? If it isn't, then what happens is our body actually sees itself as a hologram. That means in our brain, there's literally a little picture of how it sees us, and it communicates via that picture. The problem is if that hologram is switched or inversed, yes will be no and no will be yes. And so there's ways to actually reboot that and help the body actually stabilize itself. So I'm going to talk through this and then we're going to actually do it. So if it's flipped, we'll get wrong answers. So you have to always check before you assume what's right. Because you could be getting yeses when they're no's and no's when they're yeses. If you don't test first, you don't know. So you want to make sure the body is giving us proper findings. You also want to make sure the person is not emotionally charged when you're doing this. Their emotions can interfere with the outcome as well. If they're really angry, you're probably going to get some weird answers. But then you're going to have to switch them to try to get it back to normal. So you can see there are quite a few steps that you can go after. The second best thing to do if you don't have somebody to be a surrogate for you is for you to test yourself. It's you to use yourself as a yes or no. So when we look at this, we can use it to test, are there things that are good for us to eat that would be positive for us? Are there things that could relate to us emotionally that could be coming up? We can ask questions about past events and traumas and how they happened and what emotion you may be stuck with. You can also figure out what organ can be driving a problem. And can it be related to an emotion or can it be related to physiology? Can it be related to what's actually going on? So an example is if you have a weak muscle whenever you touch your pancreas, That can indicate you have diabetes, you ate too much sugar, or you emotionally don't believe you're a good enough person to receive love. So it could be all of those things. So depending on what's driving it, then we have to ask, is this physical? So you ask the clarifying question. Is this an emotional thing? Yes or no? Is this a physical thing? Yes or no? And then in doing that, we can start clarifying what's actually going on. And really cool, we have a client in here today who has some things he wants me to test. So we'll be able to use him as our model tonight. We're not into that point yet, but we'll get there. So first off, what we want to do is the number one first thing that we do is we want to find a strong muscle. I really like using the hands because they don't fatigue very easily. The shoulder can fatigue, and if you've seen muscle testing before, people can use it. It's about simple yes and no answers. When you do use the hands, though, if the person's really strong, you have to use different fingers instead of the strongest ones they're having. So if they got a grip strength of 200 pounds, you're not going to be able to pull that apart. So then you're going to go to a weaker one, like maybe the pinky, and use that. I like the fourth digit or the ring finger. It's usually pretty good. It's not really, really strong, and it'll give you a good answer. So I like using that. You can use the quad, you can use the bicep, but those muscles are a different form of muscle. They're usually what's called glycolytic or and not oxidative. What that means is they use direct sugar and ATP right away, so they'll fatigue quickly. And if you keep asking the question, then the person will get really sore the next day. Like if you keep asking the shoulder, they're like, you hurt my shoulder. And it's, yeah, the muscle isn't used to doing stuff, so it hurts. That making sense? But if we use the ones in our hands, they're more oxidative, which means they're longer lasting, use more oxygen to turn food into energy. So I like the hand ones. So then what we want to do, we have a muscle, we test it. The muscle's strong on yes, weak on no, we're good. Before we even get there, we want to make sure that it's just strong. You just pull on it, hold tight and pull on it and see if the person can just hold it. So number one, how strong are they? And then does it line up? Do they have a proper yes and a proper no? If they don't, then we got to make sure that they're balanced and we're going to get a good result before we start asking questions. Does it make sense? If we don't, we can get aberrant or bad information. And if we're making big decisions like, should I buy this or this house or that house, that could be a big problem. And you also want to understand that if you're emotionally charged, it can affect it as well, because you can cheat and try to pull harder on certain ones. So your goal is to try to be as non-attached to the outcome as possible. The best result is two surrogate people that have no emotion attached to it. You tell the one guy what to ask or gal, and they ask it, and then they do the pulling, and then they'll tell the difference. That's the best way, but that's 3 people involved. That's a lot of work. Most of the time, we're not going to do that. We're just going to be us and somebody else, or just us by ourselves. Does it make sense? So if you have 2 people completely not attached to the outcome or event, that's the best to have. Because inevitably, somebody's going to try harder, weaker, or different things like that. Or they're going to mess with you. They're going to let it go and let it get. So that's stuff that you run into is, oh, well, no, I really want ice cream. So I'm going to say yes or no, or I really want this, or I really want that. And they can actually change the outcome, not giving you the actual answer that you want. So do we have any questions on what I just explained? Yes, sir. So the question is, if you do the muscle testing with yourself, is it pretty subjective? You should actually feel the tension difference. With yourself, it's actually easier to do the skin conductance one than it is the actual muscle test. So what that means is if you produce sweat naturally and your hands aren't really dry, you can do it. So what you'll do is you wiggle your fingers together and you go, show me yes, and then show me no. And you should feel a difference with how much friction there is on yes and no. No should be a lot tighter and yes should be a lot looser. If that works, you're good. If it doesn't, then yeah, you got to do the muscle testing. So if you're using yourself, I like doing the pull So I'll do 2 fingers and say, show me. So I'll just say, okay, am I strong? Yep, I'm strong. Show me yes, show me no. And you can feel the difference when you do it. Are we doing okay? So you can feel the difference. That's an easy way. Sometimes that'll hurt my fingers though, because I'm pulling so tight. So I like doing the one where you push down as well. You're pushing up. That's actually an indication of how well the frontal lobe is working as well. So show me yes, show me no, and you can feel the difference. Do you feel the difference? Yeah. So you should be able to feel the difference. If you don't, it's not going to work really well for you. You're going to probably need somebody else to help you. So that's the easy way to do it. So do you want to bring up some of your things? So we have a kind patient. Our models here, he wanted to get tested for some stuff, so he brought in some things. So what we're going to do is, this is Jay, and what we're going to do is we're going to figure out what muscle to use on him first. So let's see your hands, Jay. So usually we'll try these two. So squeeze them together. Just hold tight, hold strong. Good. Say yes.
Yeah.
Hold strong. Say no. No. Hold strong. Yeah. So we got a pretty good answer. We got a pretty good yes or no indicator with him. Now, that tells us that it works on yes or no, but we got to make sure there's no gender related things or pronoun related things, because it can actually mess with it. So hold strong. So we're going to start with, say, my name is Jay. Hold strong. Say, my name is Louise. Hold strong. And we should get weak. So we know that his brain's doing okay with that. So we got a yes or no, and we got a name. So we should be pretty good. But if we want to just make sure, we can go a little deeper. Hold strong. And you say, I'm a male. Hold strong. Hold strong. Say, I'm a female. Hold strong. And it got weak. So now we know we tested 3 different questions. We got definitive yes and no's. Would you say that's true? You're still trying as hard as you can. You don't go weaker, but what happens is your body is going to, when your frontal lobe knows it's a lie, it'll actually decrease the amount of force you can produce. So that's what it's actually doing. But it gets really cool because everything you've ever heard or experienced, your frontal lobe remembers. Doesn't mean you remember it. And so it can use all of that knowledge to make the decision for you. And then if you get really, really into it, the frontal lobe is believed to be a transmitter where you can connect to universal intelligence or God. So you can actually connect and make decisions through that. And that's a way to connect without your emotion getting in the way. So then what we do is we say, okay, he wants to use this enzyme. Let's see if it's good for him. So we know he's strong. So then what you want to do, if you're testing a supplement, you take it in the opposite hand and you want to actually put it on the heart. So the heart's going to be over here on the left side. And then you go, hold strong. 1, 2, 3, hold strong. So this was weak. So that one shows that it actually wouldn't be good for him, even though it's a digestive enzyme. So we're not liking that one as much. Now we can get one that's even bigger. This one has sugar in it. Even though it's organic sugar, it's still sugar. I'm not saying you have to stop eating sugar for everything, but it's inflammatory, so it's not good for your body. So we're going to watch how this one works. Hold strong. That one's really weak. So we know that's not good at all. So should Jay eat this? Hold strong. He's trying really hard, but it's not working. Is this a positive thing for Jay to eat? Hold strong. No. So we can see that, right? We can see the difference. So we can see the sugar isn't working as well. Let's try the enzyme again. Okay. Hold it up. Hold strong. Is this a good product for Jay? Hold strong. No, we definitely got weak again. So I like, if you really are making a big decision, I like to test it multiple times, not just once and you're done. I like to test it multiple times to see 2, 3 times, what are we going to get? So then what we're going to do, we're going to look at chamomile. Okay. Hold strong. Is this a good product for Jay? Hold strong. Oh yeah, that's really good. But then we ask, well, how many should he take per day? 1, hold strong. 2, hold strong. 3, hold strong. 4, hold strong. It's definitely less than 4. 1, hold strong. 2, hold strong. 1, hold strong. 3, hold strong. So it's 1. So 1 capsule a day is good for him. So now we're seeing where he's at. Now we can test one more time and see if anything changes. So should we do 4 capsules? Hold strong. Nope. Should we do 1 capsule? Hold strong. Yep. 2 capsules, hold strong. Nope. So we still got 1 again, so I know it's good. Yes, question. Should he have taken the supplement to know the answer? No. No, you actually test before you take them to know if it's something that's good for the person. Your body's going to resonate with the frequency. So your body's going to actually connect with it and go, yes, I like this, or no, I don't. Like every single person, I don't care who you are, I put this up against you and it's going to make you weak. Even though it's organic, love, beautiful chocolate, and all that good stuff, it has sugar in it, which is inflammatory, which is bad for you. Does that make sense? Dark chocolate might be good if it doesn't have a lot of sugar, but it's the sugar that's in here that's actually causing the problem. Because we can play with different teas and we'll see different changes. I use this same testing to help people with allergies. So we can actually take the hair, have them put up against, and then we adjust them to help them change the immune response. And then all of a sudden they can be exposed to stuff and they don't have the reaction. Go ahead. Okay. So the statement was one of our patients went to a quantum chiropractor before us. There was muscle testing being done. Are you asking that's what was being done? Yes, the answer is that's what's being done. And that's a part of applied kinesiology. So there is science behind it. It's not woo-woo and crazy. It's just that a lot of people don't understand it's actually more reproducible than most other things. So you found out that there was a problem from doing this. Yeah, understandable. Now, just FYI, if you live in Colorado, you probably have heavy metals because there's heavy metals in all of our water. There's high amounts of lead and arsenic and all this stuff. So if you want to stay healthy, a good protective thing to do would be have some sort of just basic carbon and like a Brita or pure water, one of those carbon and what's the other one? The white stuff. Carbon's the black. The white stuff is a different rock. Anyways, it pulls out the impurities. So you just take out that stuff. If you want to go real hardcore, you can get a really good purifier system. But that's the key is if you live here, I already know you have heavy metal issues because you're exposed to heavy metals unless you have a good filter to pull out the metals. So the question and the statement was the only way to get the fluoride out of your water is to distill it. You can do that. There's other ways to do it. There's other purification methods that will work. Distillation is really good. If you get water off the side of the mountain, you're not going to have as much drugs or fluoride and stuff on it as well. If you go through different filters, it just depends. Okay, so we're going to get back into this. So this one, cool. We got another herb. And we're going to see how he does with this one, right? So we're going to test him again. Say yes. Hold strong. Say no. Hold strong. Okay, so we're still getting good answers. Because I could have said something that just triggered him here and we might have got something. I doubt it, but we have to retest. You know what I mean? We have to keep retesting. So he's going to hold this one. Hold strong. Say yes. Hold. 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 2 per day for Jay. Hold. 3 per day for Jay. Hold. Got weak. So it's 2. So we got 2 per day for whatever product that is. It's for echinacea. So we're looking at different products. Now you have to understand when you do this, it's for him right now. It's not for him tomorrow. It's for him right now. If you want to be really anal about it, if it's something that's positive for you, you can just take a high dosage and then drop really down, really low. Because it changes, it fluctuates based on the day and what you've learned and what you've been exposed to. So then we'll look at this one, cinnamon. Okay, cool. So we're going to hold this one. Is this product good for Jay? Hold strong. Definite yes. Is this pills or is that what it is? Okay. So 1 capsule per day, hold. 2 capsule, hold. 3, hold. 4, hold. 5, hold. 4, hold. So he came out solid at 4. 5 was a blowout. So he's going to take 4 capsules per day. So cinnamon is really good for anti-inflammatory. It helps balance sugar issues and stuff like that. So if we have any sugar stuff, that could be one of the things that he's going with. So as we can see, the test shows what's good, what isn't good for today. If you're really want to make sure, we can do blood tests as well. We are in a functional medicine network where I can get blood tests done really affordably. So like an example, we have a full panel that we just ran on a lady that if you went to your medical doctor would cost you $2,500, and it was $250 for us. It was literally 10 times cheaper. So it covered everything from thyroid to different electrolytes to vitamin D to all the white blood cells to sugars to all the inflammatory markers. If you want to learn more about the testing, we can tell you there's a whole panel of different things that we can order for you. So an organ, oh, you wanted to ask about the organ. Okay. So now what we do is we know there's a strong muscle. Now we want to see, well, is there an organ that's being affected right now? So let's try liver. So he's going to hold his liver. Now with this, you're going to have me probably help you because most people don't know where the organs are related. Is this organ affecting his health negatively? Hold strong. No. So we're okay. Is this organ affecting his health with any emotions? Hold strong. Is this organ affecting his health with any emotions? Hold strong. So we got a yes and then a weak no. So it means there is something there. So then we look at liver and go, okay, is it okay if I say what this is? Okay. So we look at liver, and liver is related to irritation, frustration, or aggression. Now we go, is this related to irritation? Hold strong. That's a definite yes. Frustration, hold strong. No. Aggression, hold strong. No. So it's irritation. Is this related to his work? Hold strong. Yes. So if irritation at work causing this to run up. So now we understand what's going on, and there's different ways to take care of it. There's ways where you hold your liver and you can do tapping, and you can actually kinesthetically stimulate your brain to allow you to process out that emotion. Then we retest, see if it's cleared, and if it's good, you're good. If you're like, well, why is all this coming up? It can literally be that that organ is being stimulated by something you ate or thought or drank or whatever. Yes, sir. So the tapping is a whole release protocol that we have. I can't go in that today because we got like 2 minutes left. For everybody who's here, I'll go into it after the video is done. If you want online the information, just come in, ask for the tapping protocol, and we can show it to you. It's an easy way for you to kinesthetically link emotions. If we figure out what organ is tying it, then we can help you move forward. But usually diseases are correlated with certain emotions. So like if we have a pancreas or spleen issue, it's related to the low self-esteem, living through others, over-concern, hopelessness, lack of control over events, worry, or distress, which means if we got a type 1, type 2 diabetes issue, it could be related to those emotions. And then you go through the emotions, go to the organ, and it can drive it. And that's why you'll see some people will be in quote unquote best blood health, but they still have a problem. Every marker is fine except for they have a high sugar marker indicating diabetes. Well, that can be driven by an emotion. Well, I don't feel loved by my mom or something like that, and then that's what's driving it. Cholesterol can be related to that as well. That would be an inflammatory thing. That would usually be related to the liver, though. So if we have a liver thing, it can literally push up our cholesterol because we're frustrated at work and we're not able to deal with whatever it is. So if we let that emotion go, it can actually help us move forward. Any questions on any of this? Go ahead. So how would you test yourself? Yeah, so what I would do is I'd do something like this or like this. So put it on and then test yourself. Is this good? Or if you want to start yourself, you're going to test yourself. Show me yes. Show me no. Is my name Josh? Is my name Sarah? Am I a boy? Am I a girl? Just ask those questions. There's another way Sarah was bringing up you can test yourself, and it's leaning forward. So show me yes, show me no, and you'll feel when you do no, you can't actually hold yourself up. So there's different ways to test it. I just like the hands. So then you go into here and go, is this good for me? Yes. 5, 6. So for me, I'd need 5. So it's just an easy way to test yourself. And you can figure out what's going on. If you have a chronic problem though, the symptom survey will help, but with muscle testing, you have to do it repeatedly, and then you'll start seeing a pattern. If you want a more finite thing, a more distinguished thing, you do blood, but you also have to also understand blood is only for that instant in time. So if you really want to know how healthy you are, you do 3 blood tests consecutively in months, and then you'll know what you're actually at. Because then you see what is actually there repeatedly. We have people who go in, they just ate a donut, they go in, they didn't say they ate a donut, they didn't do fasting, all of a sudden they have diabetes now. Well, no, I ate a donut, my blood sugars are high. Or the quintessential one, patient was rushing to the hospital, doctor was actually rushing to get to the airport and was late, when got his blood drawn, his cortisol, insulin was all high, inflammation was all high, and they came back, you have a brain tumor. He's like, no, I don't, moron. Like, I was running to the hospital, to the airport. They came back, did another test, they're normal. And he's like, how is this possible? He's like, it's called physiology. Your body changes. When you have to get up and run, your blood pumps faster and you need more hormones. When you just sit down, everything changes. So you want to take things into account. You don't do one test and say you have this. You take multiples, at least 2. If somebody's going to put you on a drug, make sure that test is done multiple times before you do something. Is this making sense? Because then you'll know it's actually something you need, not just a fluke. Oh, we got 1 high and 1 low. Well, maybe we need a 3rd one then. And we can see accumulation. So let's thank Jay for being up here. We'll get your stuff. All right. So I do want to let everybody know our Patient Appreciation Week is this week. So if you have any friends or family members you want to have come in, this is the week of the full exam for $20. Have them come in. We still have open spots. I always extend it to Monday if you still want anybody to come in. So think of that friend or family member. Give them, a little love, a little hug, and say, hey, why don't we test you, see how healthy you are? That's that full EEG, neuro developmental exam, as well as the chiro assessment to see everything that's going on. It's a no-brainer. So yeah, think of the friends and family members, see what we can do to help them, and just let them have the knowledge. Doesn't mean they have to start care. Just let them see what's going on. I want to thank you all for being here, and have a good night.